If you go to Instagram, Hey Shayla, you will see exactly how it's working out. Hey guys, my name is Shayla. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, we talk about motherhood. We keep it real, but we keep it positive. We do things kind of eco-friendly, natural, hippie, granola. If you're into that, please subscribe. If you're not new here, welcome back. I have some big freaking news that I've been waiting to share for so long. This feels like pregnancy, where I'm like pregnant and I'm in the first trimester and it's all that I can think about, but I can't share about it. And then when I finally share about it, I'm like, thank God. We changed our minds. We are now in the process of moving. Let me give you a little backstory. Last year, we went and visited my friends in February in Arizona, and we were like, do we want to live here? Should we move here? So my husband started looking into the jobs and applied. We got to like the end, but we were gonna have to move in about July, August. And I was very pregnant due at the end of July. And I was like, we have to move when I can still fly. I'm gonna transfer and then have a baby there, or I'm gonna have a newborn and then have to move them. And then he works shift work, so he was gonna be working shift work, but like the terrible shifts because he's gonna be low on the totem pole while I have a newborn. And we were like, we can't. This isn't the time. And we went through the winter in Minnesota. And I was postpartum, so that has something to do with it. It just, in Minnesota, it gets so cold. You can't go outside. And it's gloomy. It's like the clouds come out for like months. And sad seasonal affect disorder, I think is what it's called. It can really mess with you. And it was messing with me. And I was just like sad. And Seth's like, do you realize that this happens every winter? We should look into Arizona again. And I was like, oh, okay. So we started the process again in April. This has been on my mind since April. And I've been thinking about it since April, but I've been making content about other things because I couldn't talk about it. Well, now we can finally talk about it. And I'm not saying we're moving. The next video we'll know for sure. He is in Arizona right now doing the final things of like a final interview and all those things. And then we'll have a final offer. So we have a contingent offer at the time. All right, I have a list of things that I want to go through. So we're just gonna start. We got chickens. Chickens are also allowed in Arizona. But I was like, well, I'm not gonna travel with chickens. I was like, we have to give them away because we're not gonna go through the process of getting a coop and then having to get rid of the chickens and the coop. We need to find somewhere for them to go. And if we end up not moving, then we can just get chicks again. But it just feels like more work to like continue on this path. This video is sponsored by Levels. I refilmed this because the first time I talked about it for 8 minutes and I just needed to consolidate it. My husband and I are big on spending on experiences and health. And so if you're kind of like that, listen to the end. The app itself, when you sign up for not only do you get 2 months free, you also get a blood panel, which I think is awesome just to get a baseline for what is going on in your body. It also has you track your food. And I was like, ugh. Food tracking, but it uses AI. So you can literally take a picture of your meal, or you can do a talk to text, be like avocado toast, and it will give you an approximate of the macros and everything that's in there. Based on the information that you added, it will tell you what your fiber and protein intake should be. You can also add on a CGM monitor, which is a blood glucose monitor. I didn't understand the importance of blood sugar until I read the book, but there's also a 10-minute podcast that the author does talking about how important it is for metabolic health and like overall health and longevity. I was super freaked out about the install. It took me days to put it on. I did it and it didn't hurt at all. This will tell you like how your personal body is affected by food, because what affects me doesn't affect Seth and vice versa. So you want to avoid giant spikes and you want to avoid long spikes. But for me, the most interesting thing I found about this, when I do not have enough sleep or I'm stressed, like during this potential move, I have a lot more spikes from food that normally doesn't give me spikes. If this sounds interesting to you and you're like, I would love to see the CGM, and you can just do it for a month. I need a baseline for my blood work and like a food tracker that uses AI and makes it super simple. Check out Levels. Levels.link/heyshayla. If you have any questions about it, DM me on Instagram, heyshayla. I've loved it and I've loved doing it with my husband. So all right, let's get back to it. Throughout this entire video, I'm going to be talking as if we're moving because that's where my head's at. I've already packed up some of the house. I have purged like no one has purged before. I basically would look at a thing and I would ask myself, would I pay to move this? And I was like, treadmill, out of here. I haven't used it in forever. If I decide I want to pick up running again, I will get another one. Like our couch downstairs, gone. The amount of things that I've gotten rid of is just insane. And the best place was buy nothing. Get on Facebook and look up Buy Nothing, your city, and you can just give away anything. People give away milk. They're like, hey, I bought this pint of milk and I only needed a cup. Does anyone else need milk? And then someone else is like, oh my gosh, I just need a cup for my recipe. And then they give each other milk. But then also like normal stuff that's like baby stuff we're not using anymore. Or some people will ask for things. It's pretty awesome, especially when you're trying to purge and declutter. So then we had to figure out like, the mover situation? Are we gonna do a U-Haul? Are we gonna do a pod? I'm like the DIYer. Like, I want to save every penny that I can and do it myself, but not when I have 3 kids. So we are using a moving company that comes in, disassembles our furniture, puts it into the thing, ships it there, and then reassembles it all once we're there. So I got that locked in a while ago and just was like, well, I'm just gonna have to pay the cancellation fee if this doesn't work out. And I've just been slowly packing. I'm like, winter clothes, packed. Things that we don't need anymore, packed. So that I'm just ready and then I have one last thing to do. I'm like, Seth, can I take the pictures off the wall? He's like, no, Shayla, leave the pictures. My realtor was like, don't sell your bed frame because you still need to show your house. Speaking of showing your house, we started talking to our realtor about selling our house. So he came over and he's like, I actually might have someone who's interested in this off market. So they came over, they loved it. They gave us an offer contingent on Seth getting the job. So Seth has been very stressed. It's a lot. I've gone through a few mental breakdowns where I'm like, how am I gonna do this? But I do it, it's fine. So we kind of have been thinking about this because Seth and I are both from Minnesota. Our families are here, which obviously is a big pull. We lived in a van on the West Coast. We went to New Zealand for 2 months and we did a lot of traveling before we settled down and had kids, and we miss it. We miss the adventure, and it feels like in Minnesota there's not, I know that there's a ton to do. So and like people are like, no, there's so much to do in Minnesota. Like, yes, there are lots of things. We just want warmer weather for my mood in the wintertime and just adventures. We just love the West Coast. I like am set on getting a camper or at least renting one until we can figure out which one we want. We're gonna probably have to be inside for months at a time, just like how we're inside for months at a time here. But here, it's so cold and gloomy. Where there, it's super hot and sunny. And I feel like that's gonna make all the difference. I'm a little nervous about the heat, but I think a lot of it has to do with mindset and attitude and just like knowing that any decision you make is gonna have pros and cons, and like that we've thought about this. I went to yoga one day and I had this moment in Shavasana where I was just like, we are meant to move. And that's kind of what we decided last year. It was like, we're not doing it this year, but we'll do it in like 5 years. We had like, it's not now, but it's coming. Like, we're going to move. And then after this year, we're like, I think it's time. My sister is so sad. And I'm so sad. And sometimes I wake up at night and I think about how sad I am. Like, I'm going to miss my nieces and nephews. And we go to my dad's house once a week for dinner. And it's just so great. And I'm going to miss that. I'm not going to have that anymore. And so it's going to be harder in different ways. I have decided that it is okay for me to be sad and excited. But I have this like plan, this vision where I'm going to come back to Minnesota for 1 month every summer. And it's already like, I've fantasize this, that's in my kids' core memories of like spending the summer in Minnesota with their cousins. Last time I made this video, I got so many comments that people were like, oh, we moved to Arizona and we moved back, it was horrible, or like, you made the right decision. And I'm like, oh, well, now we're moving, so I hope that's the right decision for us. But I really think it is. One of Seth's cousins was like, you're gonna get back to like adventuring like you used to. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what this is. Like, that's exactly what, this is exactly what we want this to be. We want to just like go hike Camelback with the kids, even if we only make it up 5 minutes, or we want to just like do outdoor camping and drive 6 hours to San Diego, or 2 hours to Sedona, or Flagstaff, or Palm Springs, or the Grand Canyon, or just so much in that region where you can drive not very far or far and get to something really cool that you can't get to here. So it's mostly a lifestyle change. Seth also has different opportunities with his job there, which is exciting. So there's that, but it's hard. It's so easy when it's yourself and you're like, I'm gonna go live here, no big deal. There's no one else to think about besides yourself. But when it's like your family, you think about it a lot more, and you just hope that you're making the right decision and your kids like the decision and it works out. But Seth and I are also people where like, if we fall on our face, like worst case that we absolutely hate it, we're not gonna come back with our tails between our legs. We're gonna come back being like, we tried it and we didn't like it and now we're back. And like, that's it. It'll cost a lot of money and there'll be a lot of like things more than that. But I feel like a lot of people don't want to do it because of the ego hit if it doesn't work out. Where we're like, we don't care if it doesn't work out as far as ego. It's all the other factors that would be kind of unfortunate, but like, it's fine. We're really looking forward to it. Like I said, Seth is there this week doing his final stuff. I mean, it's high stress. He is very stressed out. He's like, what if this doesn't work out? I'm like, then we just stay here. Or we like, you apply somewhere else. He's like, no, like we have a house that's contingent. We've already told our families, like we think we're moving. Everyone thinks they're moving. You've sold half of our things. Like there's so many more factors than that. And I'm like, well, yes. But as far as our egos go, it's no big deal. And he's like, you don't know the work it took, all the work that it took to like figure this all out. So I'm hopeful that it'll work out. What that also means is that I'm solo parenting for 5 days. The days are fine. It's the night times that I'm most worried about, because all 3 of my kids want an armpit. The baby needs to be close to nurse, but the other 2 want to be in an armpit. So I've had to stagger, like put the baby down, put the girls down, hope the baby doesn't wake up during that. And it's just for 5 days, it feels like a lot. So I've been really nervous about this. And then when we dropped Seth off, we should have just had an Uber out of here, because when we dropped him off, I was like, this is gonna be fine, we'll say bye. They lost their minds crying on the way home. And I missed my turn a bunch of times. The baby threw up. I was just feeling it bubbling inside of me. It was horrible. It was terrible. I cried because of how sad it was that they were crying, and it was just bad. So we're on day 2 of 5. Wish us luck. If you go to Instagram, heyshayla, you will see exactly how it's working out, because that'll be more real time. If all goes well, we will be gearing up to be leaving in the next couple of days before next week's video comes out. So if you want to know real time what's going on, check it out on Instagram. And then if all goes well, I will make another video talking about where we're gonna stay, if we're gonna buy or if we're gonna rent, like how the selling process went here, what our plans are as far as kindergarten and activities, and there's a lot. So this video is all the process of getting to this point, and next week's video will be what it looks like moving forward. Are we gonna fly? Are we gonna drive? Do we have 1 car, 2 cars? Are we DIYing house part? Like, just a lot of stuff that's gonna be doing. So tune in next week for that, and wish us luck. Thanks. Bye.